What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow and where I see the share price going based off technicals. I'm also going to talk about what the news is saying about Tesla and the market and what Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend, put on his Twitter page that makes me very excited for the future. Now, before I break any of this down, before I talk about why Tesla just did something very fantastic that makes me very excited and what the share price is showing, I do have to mention a couple of very important things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please do not take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, but benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you do sign up for Webull and deposit any amount of money, whether it's $1 or $100, it's really your choice. You are guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. Once again, that's free money. When I signed up, I got a free Apple share and many other shares. So please check out this offer if you want 5 free stocks. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, we were barely red today, down 0.51%, and that's a pretty good sign. I think we're doing quite well. However, we are seeing some bearish indicators kind of coming out given the way this is moving. Now, one of the things about Tesla is it's a very capricious stock. Sometimes it makes moves you don't expect. And in my previous video, I predicted we'd stay in this range. I told you guys that 1,115 is where we have that key level of resistance. And I predicted that we would close just barely above 1,100 at around 1,105 to 1,110. And I was off by about that's about 12 to $17. So I was off a little bit. I did think we'd be a little bit green. We ended up being a little bit red. But here's the very important thing. So we are seeing resistance at 1,100, and it's starting to hold us back a little bit more than it did yesterday, and that is a bearish indicator. But looking at the entire market, that played its big role. The fear and greed index right now, it's pretty neutral. I did anticipate this being a little bit greedy yesterday and a few days before, and we may actually see it remain neutral for a couple of days because we are getting a bit of a pullback in the market, which is completely healthy, but it is something that's playing out. Because if you look at the NASDAQ, it's down 1.21%, took a bit of a hit today. Not too, horrible. It's completely natural. We saw the same thing with the SPY. It also was a little bit down, and we saw a lot of red just left and right. So the market did take a bit of a hit, and Tesla held up pretty well relative to the market, in my opinion. Now, I had the two price ranges I talked about, and I'm going to repeat it again. If we soar past 1,115, that would be a very bullish indicator, and we would continue to soar to the moon, I believe, if that were to happen. But if we end up dropping below $1,070 a share, then we would end up, continuing to fall to maybe 1,050 or even lower than that. Now, if you look at the 2-hour candles or even other time frames will show you this, we have this big gap right over here. I actually highlighted them with these two trend lines, and you could see right here, it starts at about, what is that, 1,053. It goes all the way down to 1,010. Now, at the end of the day, it is possible for us to start to fill this gap going forward. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen this week, and I still find that quite unlikely. I don't think it's going to get filled this week, as we just have a couple of days left, and it is possible this thing does swing really hard, but like I said before, I do find it more probable that's going to fill going into maybe later, because we do have the grand opening of the Giga Texas just next week, and that's going to be pretty massive. It's also possible for us to fill this first and just run after, but like I said, be prepared for anything because we are in a bit of a capricious state. Now, looking at the way this thing is moving, we have those key price ranges. So what do I think is going to happen tomorrow? Well, here's the thing. If we look at some technical indicators, right? If you look at the MACD and the RSI, these are the two main ones I use. We are starting to see some sideways action right over here as we're staying in this range. I talked about this yesterday. So what happened was, if I go back a little bit, we were on this upward trend. We saw the MACD, it did not flip with the 9-day moving average. We saw a lot of green histograms. Then when I zoom into like getting closer to right now, we got a flip and we started to see sideways action. Then we got that big gap to the move up. But even though we got that move to the upside in that channel, it didn't cause us to just run all the way up to 1200 instantly. Instead, we started to see a strong resistance that kind of held us back a little bit. So what I'm seeing is there's another flip that formed. We got another flip here, which is showing that we're most likely going to stay in this channel and maybe start to descend a little bit. I'm not sure if we're actually going to break out of 1070 and start dropping really hard before, because like I said before, we had the news about the stock split, other big things out there, or at least Tesla's aiming for that. They are filing that with the SEC and still negotiating. So that could be very awesome. But like I said, it's very, very good news. We are seeing a bit of a cool off for the RSI at about 70.6. Now, the DMI is also showing some signs of sideways action. We actually saw it kind of like drop right here. The positive line had that drop, but it's actually still doing okay. So, for what I see happening tomorrow, and this is what I predict is going to happen, I predict that we're going to stay in this channel right here. And I don't see us breaking out of it tomorrow. I think we're going to remain in it. And it still is a little bit possible, or very possible, for us to stay a little bit in the green. If we do end up breaking below 1070, like I said, we're probably going to fall to 1050 to 140, maybe around there. And it is actually looking a little bit bearish because 1100 is acting as a resistance in a way. We are able to like break out of it, but we immediately see lots of sideways action, then we drop out. So it is kind of a struggle. So, from the way I see it, I don't see us, or at least I find it less likely for us to just break past 1115 and continue running to the upside. I find that less likely. I find it more likely we're going to stay in this channel and maybe actually drop a little bit here and there. And even though this is going on, even though this is the case, I'm not scared whatsoever. So, for my prediction for tomorrow, I predict that we're going to stay in this channel, continue trading the way we are. I think we are also starting to bounce off 1084, so we're probably going to see that going into tomorrow. We could drop a little bit below there, but we're probably going to continue to swing sideways. And I do anticipate us to actually close. It is possible for Tesla to close somewhat in the green, so I would not be surprised, but I don't see us closing above 1100. So I see us closing between 1090 and 1100, staying in that same range. And it is kind of in a boring phase right now. We're not, rallying really hard. As long as we hold these levels, we're going to be in a very, very awesome state for next week. So I really want to see us hold these levels. We're still doing well. It's not the end of the world, but we're not looking as strong as we did yesterday. So like I said, don't be surprised if we drop a little bit tomorrow, see lots of sideways action, but I do expect at the end of the day for us to run up a little bit and still close perhaps very close to where we are, but maybe a little bit in the green. So I just want to prepare you guys for that. Now, anyways, I want to talk about this right over here. We actually have some very good news for Tesla for the next upcoming months, and that's right over here. It was reported by Yahoo Finance that Tesla dodges the nickel crisis with secret deal to get supplies. Now, I don't know if calling it a secret deal is the way to go about it, but one of the things that's important is the fact that Russia accounts for 17% of the global production capacity of Class 1 nickel. And because of what's going on in the world, with tensions and other things like that, it's going to have an effect on the EV sector. Now, Tesla is an exception, or at least to a very large degree, it is an exception, because Elon Musk talked about the fact that they want to focus on vertical integration to maintain their control over their own supply chain. That means that they're working with partners out there outside of Reno, Nevada, and they're going to be buying cells from other leading supplies to make, or also even make its own at the same time. So they're doing two things at once. They're buying them from the leading suppliers, and on top of that, they want to start doing it themselves. It states right here the company is constantly pushing for advances in how raw materials are processed and how the batteries are made. Elon Musk talked about this, and they did talk about the fact that they have an advantage in this as well. So they do want to, and I did talk about this right here, they actually want to they did talk about the fact that the nickel supply can be a concern. And I think Elon Musk did talk about how it could be more concerning, but he did want them to essentially mine more nickel to really keep up with the demand. And it does look like they're going to be doing it because of their deals with the big companies. Now, on top of that, there were actually many reports talked about the fact that Tesla could be mining their own nickel very, very soon. That could be very cool, but I think I misspoke a little earlier. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed yet, but like I said before, it seems like they have this under control thanks to deals that they made, and they were prepared for a very long time because of the chip shortage and other big supply chain issues that we are seeing in these commodities and other things like that. So, because of the fact that there's higher demand for nickel and the fact that the price is going up, it may cause a bit of a slowdown here and there. But I just feel like Tesla has it under control and it should not affect their overall earnings and their revenue and other things like that. So nothing to be too concerned about. I think they're going to do well, especially with the new gigafactories opening. I just feel like they're going to crush it anyways. They're easily going to surpass 1 million deliveries for the year, well above that. Maybe I would estimate around 1.5 million, maybe much higher than that. They're doing very well. Now, another big thing about this company is, look, there may be some red going forward, like I repeated in this chart. If you look at 2 hour candles, I like to use 2 hour candles to just get a good macro perspective. Right over here, I'm sorry, right here, we have that massive, massive gap. I was looking too far back. This big gap, which means eventually this thing is most likely going to drop. And it's a little bit hard to tell right now if it's going to happen this week or next week, but it is most likely going to drop down to the 1,000 range, maybe the 900s relatively soon, perhaps within the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So, because of that, I don't want anyone to panic because remember, this company is seeing year over year growth amongst major, major, major automakers, and they're doing very, very well despite that. They nearly doubled their sales from March 2021 to February 2022 in just 1 year. They're doing very, very well. Now, there has been a bit of a hit when it comes to supply chains, but it's not affecting Tesla the way it is for other companies. And I do expect them to continue with the year over year growth, especially in China. I mean, the Shanghai factory is doing very well. It surpassed the capacity and the production capability of that is their Fremont Gigafactory. So it's very, very awesome news. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to this company is something to be looking out for is the fact that Jonah Critter, I do apologize if I said that wrong. She said that she would love to interview Elon Musk for Clean Technica. And as a result, she talked about the fact that she loved the opportunity. She believes in Elon. Elon Musk responded with a big okay. So he's excited and very open to another big interview. We could get some very, very big details about Tesla, some big news. He could announce something that's very promising. Now, I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but I do presume it's going to happen relatively soon. And that to me is awesome news. So, to end the video, things are doing very well. We did see some big improvements in the European full self driving technology as they're gaining exposure, and the company is still doing fantastic. And I do expect over the long term, this essentially amazing upward trend to continue to perpetuate for years to come. So don't worry about the pullback that's most likely going to come. Don't worry about all these things that are going on. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And remember, this company has amazing fundamentals that keep on getting better. The stock split obviously does not affect fundamentals the way some people may think, but it definitely opens doors for many other investors. And that, in my opinion, could be very, very good news for the share price. And we could get a big, big, big run once it actually comes out. On top of that, we have the Giga Texas. I think that could really push us up, at least to some degree, and that's going to be awesome too. So keep an eye on that. I really hope this company holds up this week, and things are still looking very, very good. So don't lose faith. Don't worry. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And remember, this company has insane potential. Nothing has changed whatsoever. I thank you. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.